Time to Heal. My name is Pam Hemphill and I'm your host. I bring you the dark side of addiction to a whole new light. Today's segment we're going to be talking about domestic violence and I'll go over a little bit about relapse prevention. I'm a substance abuse counselor and I work with those people. I work with the homeless, the alcoholic, the addict, the person that's committed domestic violence charge. The ones that most people don't want to even talk to. The hopeless ones. That's the ones I like working with. Today I want to just go over a little bit, because in the news right now with Ray Rice and the domestic violence that's going on, all over the news about it, and the topic about why is she staying with him. You know, we don't talk enough about the men that have been physically and emotionally abused. Maybe 15, 20 years ago, I was at a workshop with sitting next to this lady that was a social worker, and I said to her, you know, we need to bring some awareness. There was a book that was out that I had read about men that are being physically and emotionally abused, and she looked at me and she said, men aren't physically and emotionally abused. And I tried to tell her about a book I wrote, that I read, called When She Was Bad. And she's, well, I don't know, I don't think there's enough that it's even that important. And that's our society today, that the men aren't important and what's happening with them doesn't matter, but it does matter. And they're being abused just as much as the women. You know, right now I'm sitting in this beautiful park in Boise, Idaho. We got people out here with their family, they're involved in a little sports game. We got kids over here playing on swings. But you know what? When they go home tonight, we don't know what's happening. You know, how many men are going to call the police if their wife is yelling at them and they're feeling like they want to commit suicide? They're going to call somebody and say, my wife's verbally abused me, I'm feeling very depressed and I don't know what to do, right? No, I really doubt it. He's probably going to leave the house and he's probably going to go down to the bar and have a few drinks to just forget about it, right? Or maybe he'll just go in his room and blow his brains out. Who knows what he'll do? That needs to be brought up more. We need to talk more about men that are being abused too. A crime is a crime. There's a lot of books out there and a lot of experts, and this is only from my opinion of what the problem is and what it stems from. And what it stems from is childhood abuse. Now, keep in mind, not all people that are being abused have an alcohol and drug problem, but there are high statistics that prove that we do. We have a lot of people that get drunk and act out and start becoming violent, but not all. You know, growing up, that's all I saw, you know, was violence. And it was with my stepfathers under the influence. But I also watched my mother, and she would be in the background, and she was the one that was kind of making it where our stepfather would be the abuser. You know, by going, oh, well, you know what the kids did today? They were very mean, and they got in the refrigerator, and she would tell on us. And he would get angry, and then he would come and beat us. But of course, you know, it wasn't her fault, right? What else do women do that is happening today? Well, what about child abuse? You know, how many women are going to anger management because they're abusing their children? Or what if she was the one that started the incident by yelling at him, putting him down, and it pushed his buttons and he hit her? Is she going to get into treatment too? You know, no, most likely not. There is a lot of stuff around this, and we need more help and we need more research, but the main thing is to look at it as a mental health problem. These people with these anger issues, they have a choice. You know, I can get very angry today, and it's okay to be angry. It's not okay to hurt another person, though. There's no leg room there. Well, it's okay if they do this, or it's okay if they do that. No, it's not. It never will be. You know, perpetrating is perpetrating. It's against the law, and it should be against your morals. I want to go into just another thing real quick here, and talk about some relapse issues and why a lot of people go back out and relapse. There's a difference with treatment and the 12-step programs. In treatment, they can't get what they get in 12-step programs. In 12-step programs, what they get is the ability to be of service. if they're in treatment, they're not there trying to be of service. They're just there trying to get treatment. And that's why the program works so well, and it's missing. There isn't that much of that anymore. You know, when I was new, my sponsor said, I want you to pick up the ashtrays, pour some coffee for a newcomer, clean up after the meeting. I felt a part of, and when a person feels a part of, they start to get more involved. Another part of the relapse has to do with not completing their 4th step and their 9th step. Those are the only 2 steps that a person has to interact with another human being. But the 4th step, they got to sit down with somebody and share some of their dark secrets about their life. And in the 9th step, they got to interact with those that they harmed. So if you have had domestic violence in your past, and that's been part of the amends that you need to make, you know, that's what you need to do. A lot of people just brush that off and say, well, you know, I was drunk, or have an excuse. There's no excuses for domestic violence. It's a sad thing to talk about because, you know, a lot of us, many of us, and myself too, have had moments of frustration, not knowing how to communicate well with somebody, not knowing what to do. And the key thing I have found has worked for myself and for others is to get on that phone and to talk to someone. Let them know what's going on inside of you. Take that walk. You know, just walk away, just 5 minutes with deep breathing. You have choices. We're not victims. A lot of people say, well, they can't leave their husband or their wife because of the financial reasons. We can come up with all kinds of excuses. You know, I can too. But if you make up your mind to decide that you're going to love you and you're worth a decent life and living with people that honor and respect you, the excuses go out the window. I've known people that left relationships and slept in their car. They went to any lengths to get their life back and live a decent life. And they did it with their faith in a higher power and with the help of others. You know, today we have all types of services available. There's no excuses. I've gone down, I've offered my services. People don't want help. Some do, some don't. But those of you that do, it's there. You know, you're not alone. You don't have to walk through this by yourself. I want to bring up the Fed Up rally real quick here. I've got a t-shirt on. We're going to Washington. This is March the 28th. And what we're doing, the Fed Up rally, is a call to immediate and comprehensive federal action to end the epidemic of addiction and overdose deaths as a result of opiate use and prescription drug use. I hope you'll join them. Their website is www.feduprally.org. Again, let's go back just quickly over domestic violence and what's going on. There's a lot of different opinions about what should happen and what shouldn't happen for Ray Rice, and I just pray that they will both get help, you know, and take time to really consider what's really going on, because behind any perpetrating or abusive behavior is some real pain, generally, hiding down in there, you know. And unfortunately, we have to have somebody from a football, you know, star or movie star to get our attention. Well, it doesn't have to be, you know. If you were to just take a moment and look into the newspaper and see how many domestic violent cases are going on right now in Idaho with women. I looked it up on the internet and I couldn't believe how many cases are out there where women have abused and killed and murdered their husbands or their boyfriends. Just the other day too, I heard about a lady that left her child in the car and the firemen had to get in there and get the child out. But at the same time, we've got to be careful not to stigmatize, not to say that and give them excuses. Well, they're alcoholics and they're addicts and that's the reason they're doing this. That is not the reason they're doing it. This is what life should be like, right here. Calmness. They're all over there drinking sodas. I don't see any alcohol.
You look good, but you don't have to say something. Yeah.
I came up asking you because you want to start a domestic
As
violence.
soon as you asked that, the first thing that came in my head was God sent.
Yeah.
I am not even kidding you.
So do you want to tell us your story? Were you abused by a woman?
Yes, for years I've been in relationships that were abusive, and my last relationship with my kid's mom was actually probably the most abusivest one. She actually ended up catching a charge due to violence, and I have my little brother and a few other family members that have been, and stories I've talked to other guys about what they've been through, and they have been completely abused all life. But males stereotyping is you gotta stick up with it. You know, men are strong if they show weakness, all the hoo-has, but I don't believe anybody should have hands laid on them.
Abuse is abuse.
Yeah, abuse is abuse
Male,
no matter
female.
what. But what's the sad thing is I've been talking to my mom about wanting to reach out and actually start, even if it started in my garage or a park, but get a hold of men that are victims of, or if they've never been a victim that's got someone that's gotten in trouble, just someone who's been in relationships that has been abusive, and we get laughed at because we're men. We're supposed to flex the whole time and show no worries. And the reality is no one likes to have hands on.
Now, how many men might be committing suicide? Is there
No, yes, that or I'm not. I guess protecting. I'm not trying to come up with their excuses, but I do know that humans, after a while, anybody can have enough. I guess that's the best word for it. And I do believe a lot of men have done stuff in reaction to have it stop. I don't know if that, without wording it in a very negative way, but I know men that have gotten in trouble because after 10 years or 5 years of being nothing but beat, and because the women's so quick to say, hey, I'm gonna slap you, you lay a hand on me, I'm calling the cops.
With Ray Rice and his wife, she spit on him and then he hit him.
Yeah.
So is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
He reacted.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, after a while, and that's what I'm saying. I'm
He
not
had
saying
enough.
it's okay, but as humans, sometimes things just happen, not meaning to, but it's because of something that's happened through an unhealthy reason why there's, whatnot. But I have talked to men that have gotten in trouble due to acting on something because they would tell authority. And the cops would be called for domestic violence charges, and they would either have the wife, tell them to stop, go inside, go to sleep, or have the wife leave. But if it's the opposite way, if you are getting arrested, I could have put my hand on his shoulders and squeezed a little bit and said, leave me alone, to actively aggressing on it, no matter what, I'm going to jail. A woman does the same thing. We get laughed at, and she get told to go in the house and you guys go finish your dinner and stuff like that.
Exactly. How do you feel? Can you put it on her? About women that come over a little bit. Women that are abusing men. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think personally it's not getting enough attention at all. It's like, okay, for women to beat on men. Socially, you know what I mean? Not at all, but it just doesn't get attention, doesn't get looked
This is
on,
fucking amazing.
you know?
This is not.
And it's not right, it's not fair.
Yeah, it is outstanding, you guys walking up to me asking me this.
Yeah, so God's in charge.
You have no idea, and I've been passionately talking to my mother and a few other people, and actually, believe it or not, I spoke with a group of people, and it had been maybe 6 or 7 of them, mixed women, men, all different races, and I remember we were just chopping it up, and I asked them, I said, just brought their attention, today we're just talking about fun things. I said, what do you guys think about, I basically broke down what I wanted to kind of give. I really got laughed at by 2 people, and 3 other people were the ones that were saying, dude, we're dudes, we do that, how are boys supposed to be, we're supposed to be the army, we're supposed to be, police officers. I was like, no, any race, any sex can be anything they want to be. I said, ultimately, no one needs to have that done. Not just kids and not just women, and I respect the programs we do have in America for those organizations, but I do know that I myself has done research, and I've noticed that there are a lot of places, even just the word women's shelters and stuff like that. I've never seen facilities like there's I don't know if I name it, but there's a facility here in Boise that deals with kids and women that have either been sexually or abusive, but there's nothing that's for men. And they won't deny nobody, but the thing is I myself, I don't know if I would be able to feel comfortable is say she was a victim of a domestic violence, and I was also. I don't know if that would be comfortable, because at that time, who knows if that human has Rage Against the Opposite Sex. So I don't know if I should feel comfortable because, yeah, we're men, you know, some of us still have pride and ego and to let down in front of another, let alone ultimately to be able to talk to that opposite sex, even though they're going through it, because then they're looking at me, I'm a man, I'm disgusting. So I do like that they keep that in there so they can heal within and then come out and, you know, work with it instead of having to be scared to say anything because I'm a man.
Right.
And vice versa. I know men that, you know, no matter what society says, I know men that are scared or hate that, you know, they're going through. No one likes scars on their face or, you know, whatever else. It's just, I'm really sick and tired of society saying, hit me, soon hit me, I'm calling the cops. You hit me, I call the cops. It just...
And nothing happens to the woman.
No.
And it's the same with the men being sexually abused growing up as children.
Yes.
Because first time I learned that, I said, men aren't sexually abused as children. I never heard of such a thing. It's the same thing. We need to wake them up. Because I was sharing earlier that I met a woman 20 years ago who said, oh, men aren't abused. Women don't abuse men. So I'm so glad we know. What a blessing.
You have no
We'll do a second part.
idea.
We're going to do a
have
second part
no
of this
idea.
show. Are you almost done?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of books out there on relapse prevention and what to do, but also, you know, in our book that we use in the 12-step program, there's a lot of statements in there that tell you why an alcoholic and an addict goes back out. And one of them was the failure to do the 4-step, to open up and share yourself with another human being, 100%, holding nothing back. Also, I want to talk about the differences in gender and how they're treated in society. Let's take a teacher that goes out with a 15-year-old and she's found out and she goes to court and she gets 6 months in prison. But with a male that is dating a 15-year-old and he's a teacher too, he might get 20 years in prison. You know, abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter if it's male or female. But something's not right here in our system. It's not balancing out. You know, is it okay for me to badger my husband, put him down, make him feel like he's the scum of the earth, maybe throw something at him, maybe the spaghetti that I was making, yell at him and tell him he's a terrible husband and a terrible father, that he'll never be anything in this world, just badger him. And then he can't handle it, and so he stops me. And now I call the police and he goes to jail. But my behavior doesn't matter. You know, it does, even though if I provoke him, he doesn't have a right to hit me. He needs to do his part and walk away from me. But if it gets that far, both parties need to be involved in the charges. You know, it's just my opinion. Will it ever happen? I don't know. But it's sad though, you know, when you get on to the news and you look at these videos, there's a lot of videos out there, and I'd recommend that you look them up on YouTube on men that are being abused by women, and it's just really sad. Many of them are frightened to call the police. I mean, think about it. I'm going to call the police and tell them my wife is verbally abusing me, and as a result of her verbal abuse, I feel like I want to go in the bedroom and commit suicide. Come on, what are they going to say to him? He's going to hold that inside. He's not going to share what's really going on because he's got to be macho. He's got to know how to handle everything. Who said, you know? But the woman, oh, she's being badgered and emotionally abused. She can call her girlfriend, and her girlfriend will say, well, leave that guy. Get away from him. Come on over, right? But what are they going to say to the man? You know? So I know in Los Angeles I heard there was a men's center just for men. We need one here in Boise, Idaho. A safe center, domestic violence for men that are being abused. Also for our children. You know, our children are terribly being abused. And I think I read somewhere where a lady got 4 years in prison for neglect and abuse. They're committing this most terrible, heinous crimes to our children and not getting any consequences for it. 3-4 years in prison for almost, you know, killing a child. I'm sorry, it doesn't match. It's a really tough one. I just hope some of you will get out there and start doing what you can to make the changes that's needed here in our community and bring up the awareness, you know, because there's a lot of men that are crying out for help, and we need to be able to become more aware of what those signs are and those signals. Maybe in your intake assessments, dig a little bit deeper and ask them what's been going on in their family with their wife and if there's been any abuse. All right, so I hope you'll join me again on Time to Heal. I have a page on Facebook, and please don't give up because your miracle's on its way.
The cross is heavy with a burden, and my crazy Tyler Durden don't get better, seem to worsen. I don't even know this person, and to me I hate my sight. 2 more oxy, sleep tonight from fun to habit. Gotta have it, alcoholic in the attic. This is tragic, need some magic. I'm insane, my thoughts are static. Full throttle, hit the bottle. Pride and ego, data model. Drunk as hell, stagger wobble. Eat them pills, gobble gobble. Shake all morning, panic attack. Will I find my way back? Needle in a haystack. Someone pass the J back. Numb the pain all the time. Can't believe I wrote this rhyme. It's my secret, this is mine. I'm sick of jail and doing time. On my knees, gotta take my life. Insanity cuts me like a knife. Ain't got the strength to even fight and take the pain. Not tonight, I keep a smile inside. I crumble every way I turn, I stumble. I need you, but I hate you. I need some kind of breakthrough. I sit in tears, can't take it now. I live in hell, I'm breaking down. Blood is itching, scared to death. Who is snitching? Feel like hell, look at my health. Sad when you can't trust yourself. Push my dad, stole from mom, entire life made a drama. All my friends swear they're down when I need help, they're not around. Trapped in a maze, I give up. Running in place, my feet are stuck. Things I've done, I'm so embarrassed. On the things that I most cherish. Search all day for what I need. Demeanors mean my eyes are green. Trade my soul for one more bean. Friends are dying in my sequel. After pills and comes a needle. So much stress, I ain't working, always shaking. Bodies hurting, can't forget. Got to mention extreme anger, some depression, clearing tremors. I can die. Look to the sky, wonder why. Hallucinate with open eyes. 30 pack every night. I give up, I quit the fight. Hit my knees, saw a light. Pray to God with all my might. Before my daughter admitted, then I heard a voice say, Jason, listen, I love you, son, and you I miss. My name is Jesus, remember this. So can you. First 2 verse 2002. God loves everyone that he meets. Help me put these poems to beats. It ain't been easy, but I can breathe. Now I work, help those in need. Making progress, prayers on knees. In the back of my mind, hear that disease.
Tell me about those nights you stayed awake. Tell me about those days you hated me. Tell me how you'd rather die alone than being stuck here with me. They are gonna see things my way. Gave me so much room that I can't break. Tell me about those nights you stayed awake. Tell me about those days you hated me. Tell me how you'd rather die alone than being stuck here with me. They are gonna see things my way.